What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I want to do a top 10 list of things that I like about Dragon Ball Super so far. But before I start, I want to say a big shout out to Geekdom101 and Mike from Laughing Stock Media. They actually did two videos. One is a top 10 things that they like, and one is of top 10 things that they didn't like about the series so far. So if you want to check out their videos as well, I will link them in the description below. But before I start, I also want to hear from you guys as well. So whether you post in a list format or in separate comments, just comment below of anything that you like about Dragon Ball Super so far that they're doing right. And then next week we'll do the opposite of top 10 things that we didn't like of the series so far. So save that for next week. But for now, comment below the things that you like. So without further ado, let's jump into this list. Now everything on this list is not going to be in order or ranked from worst to best. It's just top 10 things I like. The first one is the fight between Goku and Beerus and how they portrayed it in the anime as opposed to the original movie. Now, as much as I love the fight in the movie, what I like the best about the anime is they actually fight like how I feel gods should fight. Because you hear the word god, you think powerful entity or deity or whatever, and they should fight to the point where if they throw punches, it should kind of like show some actual destruction. And the fact that when they're fighting in the anime as opposed to the movie, they're almost destroying the universe was awesome. When Goku transformed into Super Saiyan God and you see him actually try, like, how to learn his abilities and then also, like, over time figure out how to keep up with Beerus, that was a really awesome way to see Goku fight on a different level. I mean, we've always known Goku is to be this warrior who's incredibly powerful, but now we're actually watching him get to the next level and figure out how to use his new body. On top of that, almost destroy the universe. That to me was awesome, and I love how they did that right in the anime. Now again, not knocking the movie, because in the movie they did a pretty good job as well, but I feel like in the anime they portrayed a better way of how gods should fight, and that's definitely on my list. Moving on to number 2 on the list is the comedy. Now, if you've been watching Dragon Ball since the Dragon Ball days, you're probably already aware that Dragon Ball, the original series, had a bunch of comedy and was pretty funny. When Dragon Ball Z came out, I personally felt that the comedy was kind of toned down and was a lot more serious as opposed to how it was funny with the original series. And then, of course, when Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F and Battle of Gods came out, there was a lot of funny moments. With that said, when Dragon Ball Super came out, they brought back those comedic moments that make the series really fun, or when you're watching the stuff that happens in between the actual fights. And I really love how it's funny to watch Dragon Ball Super. For example, I think Dragon Ball Super has my favorite / funniest moment that happened in the entire Dragon Ball series, and that was when the part when Goku was supposed to fight that alien for Hercule, and then he saw Chi-Chi, and he was like, punch me, and he like jumps away, grabs his truck, and then flies away as if Hercule punched him like super far away. I thought that was hilarious. On top of that, you have other moments like with Jocko and Beerus versus Goku whenever Beerus is mad at Goku and Vegeta for being loud, like in the most recent episode. That stuff was funny to me. And seeing that kind of comedy come back to Dragon Ball to me was definitely bonus points to the series. I love being able to watch the other side of Dragon Ball. I mean, like I said, we grew up watching Dragon Ball, knowing it's this intense series who has some crazy villains and amazing powers, and we kind of forgot. I feel like we kind of forgot about the funny moments, and then bringing that back in Dragon Ball Super was definitely bonus points for why I like the series. Number 3 on my list is the introduction of super powerful characters, and what I mean by that is, that's kind of a weird point to throw out there, but what I mean by that is, if you watch Dragon Ball, it's a story of this invincible kid that overcomes this crazy journey, and the whole time you're watching Dragon Ball or reading it, you're like, wow, there's nothing that can stop him. Then Dragon Ball Z comes out, and then it revealed there's a lot more powerful enemies in the universe, and we always watch the Z fighters overcome and still win in the end. Like, Goku beating Frieza, Gohan beating Cell, and then, ultimately the fight between Goku and Vegeta against Kid Buu. You always see strong, powerful characters get introduced, and then the Z fighters overcome. But what I really love about Dragon Ball Super is they basically did the unthinkable. But when Dragon Ball Z ended, you think, who else is there that could challenge the powers of Goku and Vegeta and the rest of the crew? Probably nobody. And here comes Toriyama out of nowhere, and he introduces so many stronger characters than Goku and Vegeta. If you notice, in Dragon Ball Super, Goku and Vegeta are probably on the bottom of the list of the strongest characters in the universe at the time. I mean, you have Champa, you have Vados, you have Whis, you have Beerus, of course, and now you have Monaka, who was introduced for this Champa arc. Like, there's a lot more characters that are powerful, stronger than Goku and Vegeta, and that's something that we never really expected. Like, we were always like taught that in the Dragon Ball universe, no matter who shows up, Goku and Vegeta are always going to triumph them. And when we saw Goku lose against Beerus in Battle of Gods, that was an incredible moment. Like, that's actual development of, like, we were taught, like I said, that Goku and Vegeta are the strongest, and here they are, far from being, on the number 1 on that list. So it's really cool to see that they introduce new characters. On top of that, there's even more characters introduced in the Champa arc that I'm still curious to know how they're going to rank up and match up against the Z Warriors that we thought were invincible. So I love the fact that they introduced a lot stronger characters in the series. Speaking of Beerus, number 4 is that Beerus is portrayed as a god much better in the series as opposed to the movie. I said this before in my past videos, but I love the fact that when Beerus is introduced in Super, there's more time to develop him as a character as a deity. And even though in Battle of Gods he was portrayed as a god, they do it a lot better in the anime. In the anime, you have more room to really show off how savage he is. In the first couple of episodes, we saw him blowing up planets left and right. We see him basically destroy absolutely annihilated Goku in that fight. We just see how a god should act, and I love the fact that Beerus has been portrayed as a bigger savage in the anime as opposed to the movie. In the movie, let's be real, by the time we get to the end of the movie, he's just kind of like a cool, chill guy. At this point in the anime, you still are afraid of Beerus. Like, being around him could instantly mean the end of your life if you do one wrong move. And it's cool to see that they made Beerus a lot more savage in anime as opposed to the movie. So that automatically gets points to why I like Dragon Ball Super so much so far. Moving on to number 5 on the list, I can't talk about Beerus' savagery if I'm not going to talk about Frieza. I love the fact that Frieza is an actual savage, an absolute savage in the series. Now, Frieza to me, as you guys already know, I say this in pretty much every single video, is my favorite anime villain of all time. He's savage, he's absolutely evil, he's just a dick. And in Resurrection F, there's too much comedy, I feel like, around Frieza's character. Like, I can't take him serious, in the movie. But in the anime, when they redid Resurrection F, even though I wasn't a big fan of that arc, I was a fan of what they did to Frieza's character. They made him pretty freaking evil. They made him so evil that he was like torturing his own people for 4 months, which is insane. On top of that, we see him torture Gohan and just enjoy every second of it. Frieza was an absolute savage. He was absolutely as evil as he was supposed to be, and I think that Toei and the entire team behind Dragon Ball Super did an amazing job portraying Frieza's character as an evil dick that he is. Moving on to number 6 on my list is I love how they connected the dots between Resurrection F and Battle of Gods. Now, obviously, they didn't connect the dots on everything, but they explained a lot of good ones, like, for example, how Goku and Vegeta started training with Whis. When that movie came out, as much as I love Resurrection F, the thing that always bugged me about it is stuff didn't make any sense. Like, why are Goku and Vegeta training with Whis? How did that happen? How did they achieve their new forms? How did they get so strong so fast? There were so many unanswered questions. And like I said, even though they didn't explain everything like super A1 level, they still explained it enough. And it connected the dots between both these movies, and it basically allows us to go into the Champa arc, knowing how everything was set up, how they started training and all that good stuff. And on top of that, it was a lot of fun watching Goku and Vegeta, for example, convince Whis to train him. I love seeing the in-between stuff, the lightheartedness, and because of that, again, it gets points on my list of why I'm liking the series so far. Speaking of lightheartedness, that is actually number 7 on my list. I love the lighthearted side of the Dragon Ball anime. Now, again, with Dragon Ball Z, it was a lot more serious. I mean, yes, you'll have the in-between stuff where you can see, like, for example, Gohan training with Goten and preparing to go into the Buu arc. Like, you see a lot of in-between stuff. But what I really like is that lighthearted side, the lightheartedness, whatever you want to call it, in Dragon Ball Super is portrayed so well. For example, watching episode 2, seeing Vegeta go on a family trip was hilarious to me. That's easily probably in my top 5 most favorite episodes of all of Dragon Ball Super. Like, just seeing the Z Warriors, the fighters who are like so crazy and savage, and at the same time there's a whole nother side of them, seeing them go on vacations, things like that. I love seeing that stuff. I love seeing like what happens in between and just kind of like the everyday things, which is weird because most people only want to watch Dragon Ball and see the fights and all. But I like seeing the extra stuff just because it adds on to the characters. It shows the development. It shows you what they're like outside of the day. I mean, who here has ever wondered, I wonder what Vegeta's doing right now? I mean, obviously he was training, but let's say outside of training, what is Vegeta doing? What is Vegeta like if he goes to Disneyland or something? Like those kind of things were answered in Dragon Ball Super, and I just love seeing that extra stuff just because, again, I feel like it just adds on to the series so much. Moving on to number 8 on my list is the character designs, and I feel like this is going to be very questionable / debatable for my entire list. Because I know how you guys feel about Champa. A lot of you guys don't really like his design. The same thing with Beerus. A lot of you guys were not a big fan of Beerus' character design initially when it came out back in 2013. But over time, I know Beerus grew on a lot of you guys, and to me, like I said, he went from being, what the hell is that, to my favorite character in the course of a couple months. And with Champa coming out, even though I question Champa's basically rip-off from Beerus, I now understand why Champa looks the way he looks, and I like it. I really like Champa's character, and the more I think about it, Champa is moving on my top 5 list of favorite characters probably once the series gets over. I mean, he's not top 5 list right now, but I feel like over the course of the series, because of how he is and stuff, with his character design and everything, I feel like Champa is easily going to be my top 10 by the time the Dragon Ball Super series is done. And of course, we have the stuff that was introduced in the Champa arc as well, in the manga at least, with the new warriors. So I'm not going to discuss because I don't want to spoil that in case you're not that far up in the manga yet. But if you have seen the designs, I really like all those character designs that were introduced. Now, I will point out, I will note, I'm not that big of a fan of Monaka's design, but again, I don't want to knock him until I see what he's capable of. For all we know, he has a crazy transformation or something that's going to make him a beast, and I'll kind of wait and hold my judgment on that. But everybody else I really like, and that's an A1 for the series. The thing is about Dragon Ball Super is what do you design next after Frieza, Cell, and Kid Buu? And I feel like with the direction Toriyama took by designing now the Cat Gods, which is Champa and Beerus, and then all these characters in the Universe 6 arc, I think he moved in the right direction, and I'm a big fan of it. So easily that gets to my top 10 list of what I like about the series so far. Moving on to number 9, the music. Now it's funny because I grew up under Bruce Faulkner. To me, it's funny, before Battle of Gods came out, I always question if Dragon Ball Z ever came back in the future, what it would be like without Faulkner, because I knew that he's not working with Funimation anymore. And when Dragon Ball Z Kai came out, my personal biggest complaint was the fact that it was different music. It took a while for me to get used to that because, again, I grew up on a Faulkner and I was always used to hearing that music cue in whenever it was supposed to cue in. And after, Kai came out without Faulkner, it took a while for me to get used to watching Dragon Ball Z again, with that music missing. Well, when Battle of Gods came out and when Resurrection F came out, and now in the Super era, I feel like Sumitomo does an amazing job. By far the best job, in my opinion, out of any composer in the series so far. I feel like when the music kicks in and cues in and starts playing whenever something's happening, it fits in so well. Like the new Shenron music, or when Goku and Beerus are fighting, I feel like what Sumitomo has done is A1. And I gotta say, that definitely adds to my enjoyment to the series, and I'm a big fan of Sumitomo. By far my favorite composer so far out of anybody, and I love that. And finally, last but not least, of course, is the Chaos Trigger. Now when I say Chaos Trigger, I'm talking about the thing that causes the adventure to continue in the story. Now in the past with the series, you have basically evil villains, evil dudes showing up and kind of starting the saga essentially. Vegeta shows up because, Raditz got killed. Raditz showed up because he was looking for Goku. Because of Vegeta showing up, they go to Planet Namek. And then, of course, you got the Android showing up later. And then you got Babidi showing up with Majin Buu just because he's an asshole. Basically, every time anything happened in the series, it was because an evil villain showed up. But this time, it's the opposite. Both Champa and Beerus, even though they're kind of evil in a way, they aren't. They're just kind of neutral characters who are just kind of pulling the strings to everything that's happening. Now, of course, we're not going to count Frieza because Frieza coming back was a kind of extra thing. We're going to count just basically how Champa and Beerus are showing up. Beerus shows up because he's trying to fight someone, who's really, really strong, and kind of get the enjoyment of being a fighter again, someone that can basically clash with him. And then Champa shows up because he wants to do a food challenge and get Earth. So I like how Chaos is being introduced so differently in Dragon Ball Super as opposed to how it was in the past of the series, and I'm a big fan of that. Like, I just like the fact that it's not like the same old villain shows up, you fight the villain, you beat the villain, and the series is done. Like with Champa and Beerus showing up, they're probably not going to die anytime soon. And because it leaves so much potential for more crazy shenanigans down the street, or down the line, I guess, not down the street, that's weird, down the line, that it excites me for the future of the Dragon Ball series. So that concludes my list of top 10 things to like about Dragon Ball Super so far. Of course, the series is nowhere near done yet. We still have a whole arc to go, and then probably more depending on what Toriyama has planned for us, but I'm excited to see what else happens next. But I want to hear from you guys as well, so comment below whether you want to do a list format or just separate comments, which, by the way, if you do separate comments, it'll be easier to read. Doing lists can get kind of hectic, so I recommend you guys do one comment at a time. So if you want to comment 10 times, go for it. But comment below top 10 things that you guys like about the series so far, and let's see what the whole community is thinking. Again, be sure to tune in next week as well, because next week we'll do the opposite of top 10 things that the series didn't do right so far, and we'll do the same thing again next week. But for now, top 10 things that you like, comment below. And do not forget to check out both Geekdom and Mike from Laughing Stocks Media video. Wow, that's kind of a handful. In the description below as well. Check out the videos, comment over there. But this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's see what the community is thinking. So comment below. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. And I guess we'll see you guys in the comment section below. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. My name is Rhymestyle, and I will see all y'all super sandwiches in the comment section below. I said that twice. Doesn't matter. See you guys below.